Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Riverdale Season 6, the podcast. I'm Sarah Kaplan and I'm joined by my co-host Omar Najam. Hi, Omar.
Hello, how's it going? I'm so excited to kick off this season and kick off this podcast. One and the same.
I'm so pumped. Okay, I've wanted to record this podcast for years because I'm a firm believer that Riverdale Season 6 is one of the best seasons of all of television.
Yes.
Whether you've seen Riverdale or not. And I was on a TTRPG stream with you, Omar, and I mentioned this idea, and you were the first person who's ever responded positively of like, I want to join you on that podcast. So thank you so much. I'm always glad to find another Riverhead and hop on in.
Yes. Oh, this is going to be so great. We're jumping into a Sweetwater River head first.
So good.
I'm getting so excited now. If you're like, hey, should I cram seasons 1 through 5 before I hop on this? No, that's not what we're here for. No. We're not here to gatekeep. We're kicking it off with season 6.
We're here to share the joy of Riverdale with everyone. And it's actually great if you haven't seen Riverdale, because guess what? Our guests haven't either. And speaking of guests, our first guest kicking off episode 1, we're so happy to have him, Oscar Montoya. Hello.
Oh, you maniacs. You absolute freaks.
Oscar. People know you from all over the place. You're an improviser. You're in Minx. You got Bad Drag Race. You're on Dropout. You're way more famous than we are. And thank you so much. Omar's also quite famous. You're both.
I've never been on a billboard on Sunset Boulevard.
That's so true. That's so true.
Just saying.
Thank you so much for letting us subject you to this insane experiment we're trying here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know whether to say this now, or I'm just going to say this now.
Yeah, why hold back? Life
because the fun thing, this is so funny because I am a teacher at UCB, and as a teacher, I've taught people who've been on TV and stuff like that. Yeah. And wouldn't you know, but my 101 student was, in fact, Madeleine, who plays Cheryl on Riverdale.
No way. Wait, when?
Oh my God, this was 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh my God, recent.
Yes.
Wait, really?
Okay.
We're gonna have to talk about this because I'm feeling like we have our finale guest. Maybe.
Listen.
This is.
I'm listening
already.
Dot.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Insane.
I didn't.
Why did I start improv 7 years ago? It could have been in 101 with her.
She did it with her best. Oh my God. I'm going to look so stupid. I think she was also on Riverdale. But they Cheryl and I forgot.
Is it Tony?
They kiss Tony?
They kiss. It's another woman.
Is she a black woman?
No.
Okay.
Black
another
hair.
Woman, they kiss.
They said they were best friends and they were shooting something in Canada.
Is it Veronica Lodge?
No, it's not Veronica.
Oh shit. Okay.
Is it Archie Andrews?
I didn't know. I don't think she was on the show, but I do know
let's
that.
List every character in Riverdale.
All 500 of them. But anyway, I didn't know Cheryl was so prominent on the show.
Oh, she's
maybe
huge.
she's not, but like, this episode, it's like she's the star of the
Riverdale,
of the episode.
Cheryl is like, she's one of the main characters of season 6. Like, she's a huge deal.
And like the villain, maybe I want to say
question mark. Maybe the true hero.
Right.
Question
true
mark.
hero, depending on who you ask. That's a good point, Omar.
That's
Depends
an interesting
how you feel
question
about,
there, Oscar.
Heart surgery in a way. Not to give anything away for the end of the episode, but also we're not a review podcast, so we can say whatever we want.
We can spoil whatever we want. Archie dies.
That's true.
Let's go ahead and rip off that.
Wait, does Archie actually die, or
okay? So here we get into some complicated discussion of the ontology, the cosmology of Riverdale season 6, because you might have noticed that episode 1 doesn't actually take place in Riverdale.
Okay, it's Rivervale, which I was
Rivervale.
Like, what is going on here? I felt like I was having a stroke the entire time.
Before we dive too into Riverdale, I want to say there's one other voice you might occasionally hear on this podcast, and that is our producer, Azriel. Hello, Azzy.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I'll be here chiming in with little things every now and then, fact checking if I need to. But
yeah, if we
we'll
ever need to look something up, just ask Azzy.
Yes.
Amazing.
Ask Azzy, new segment.
Yes.
Trademark it.
Okay.
It's on the shirt.
I want to hear, Oscar, what's your understanding of what Rivervale is?
Okay. Because so oh God, okay. What a season to just fully jump into. To me, okay, because the presentation of season 6 already, you've developed a precedent which felt very Our Town, and you had the Jughead, I assume.
Jughead,
it was
yeah.
Jughead, right? Played by either Zach or Cody from The Sweet Life.
One of the Sprouses. Doesn't matter which.
That's what they're called, yeah. Was it the one who showed PP on the internet? Is it the other one? Okay, it's the other one. Okay. So we don't know what his PP looks like.
We can assume it's identical, I think.
Wait, do identical twins also have identical body parts?
New segment.
Maybe. You got to get twins as guests on the show.
Okay. So
wait, what'd you say, Azzy?
I'm fact checking.
Oh, okay.
Azzy's going to look up Dylan
go.
Sprouse's dick for us.
No.
What a great use of the first segment of Ask Azzy.
Yeah.
This is...
But Rivervale is like the presentational.
Let me give you some perhaps helpful context.
Okay, thank you.
What happens when we leave off at the end of season 5?
Which you've seen, of course, Sarah and Omar. You've seen all of Riverdale?
We've seen all of Riverdale.
Okay, several times. Okay,
At the end of season 5, Archie has spent the whole season in a back and forth power struggle with Hiram Lodge, Veronica's dad, over like who will control the future of the town.
Okay, and we know who he looks like, Hiram?
He's hella handsome, if that helps.
He's super hot, yeah.
You
didn't see him in this episode.
Oh, okay. We haven't seen him. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the very end of season 5, Archie and Betty like go to fuck on Archie's bed, and they hear a ticking noise, as you heard Archie say in his dream. And Hiram Lodge has planted a bomb underneath Archie's bed. And like that's the end of this season. And then season 6 starts, season 6, episode 1. This is the first time they're ever mentioning Rivervale. So you're right there with us.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I thought that maybe the town changed, someone took over and then just decided to change the name. I see. Okay. So we're all left in the dark. Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We're all in the same boat as of right now.
Got you. Okay. But y'all know what happens because you've seen the whole show.
We do. Yeah, they get really into it. Let's just say it's a splinter universe caused by the perfect confluation of emotional powers.
They did the Marvel treatment.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was like a play that people were.
No.
I thought it was a play he was putting up of the like
that's a
like
good
it
guess.
was Crucible version of Riverdale.
Yeah, it's like this is what happened. But we're going to just go 2 inches to the right because this hits a little too hard for the people of Riverdale. But please play yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's what we did in high school. I appreciate that.
Yeah, didn't you all do that?
It's not a play. It's it's literally what he says at the beginning. Like, it's a version of Riverdale where the rules of superstition outweigh the laws of science and like anything can be true.
My question to that is, in the timeline of the show, Azzy, maybe you can help us out here. We know that Sabrina, the other Netflix Archie Universe show, was a spinoff of Riverdale. Was that already your show, or did that not exist yet?
That existed.
Okay, so we have a show in the Archie universe that's like a spooky, ooky, kooky. And then they decided an entire season was sort of like a Sabrina-ish type of show.
It's interesting you say that because if I'm not mistaken, in one of the earlier seasons, was it season 2 or season 3? I think it's season 2. It starts off in Greendale, where Sabrina takes place, and a teacher is murdered, and then it plays the song "Season of the Witch." And then right around that time, Netflix announced we want to have Sabrina, and then they dropped that storyline.
No,
and I don't think they went back to Greendale in that season. So, yes, it was. There were teases of sort of Sabrina's presence, and then it was dropped. Like it was quite hot as the Netflix show erupted, and maybe you're planting some seeds that'll grow into beautiful maple trees. We don't know here, Oscar.
Yeah, Sabrina features heavily in this season, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So
worlds converging, worlds colliding. I see.
It's kind of interesting because Sabrina exists in the canon universe of Riverdale. So magic is real in Riverdale. World. Except this is the first entry in Riverdale, the show, where like magic is relevant. There's a lot of,
magic didn't play a part before in any of the past
There's
seasons.
a lot of like implication of magic, but in a very Scooby-Doo way. It's always revealed.
Janitors in monster costumes.
Yeah. That couldn't be truer, honestly. There's some custodian hijinks that happened. There were floating babies at one point, but it turned out that was don't worry about the floating babies.
There's the whole Griffins and Gargoyles season. Archie fights a bear.
Because he's the Red Paladin. He's the Red Paladin. That's important. As you would know.
The other thing that's useful to know about Riverdale season 6 is a couple episodes into Riverdale season 5, when you're watching these 30-year-old actors be super horny together, and you're like, damn, I want to be into how horny they're being, but they are high schoolers, even though I know they're 30. It's like a lot of weird cognitive dissonance. And then the show, conveniently, between 2 episodes, is just like 7 years later. And you're like, oh, they're all adults now.
So they give us the permission to be horny with them.
They do.
See.
So they're all 25 in this season. They're not in high school.
Right. Yeah. But they were in high school in season 5.
The first few episodes.
Got you. Okay. Is anyone introduced that we have not seen in the series in this episode?
Oh, what a good question.
Or are these all familiar faces?
These are all familiar faces, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe they are all familiar, but I'll make sure.
So the what seems like the head witch of Cheryl's cult exists in the Riverdale.
The old woman.
Yeah,
that's her grandma.
Yeah, she's actually the first time we see magic in the show Riverdale, where she uses divination. She uses a pendulum to be like, "Oh, you're going to have twins."
To Veronica, Betty.
Who did she say it to? It would have to be Betty's sister, right? Or
Betty's sister.
Right?
Yeah, because Betty's sister has the psychopath twins that have the serial killer gene.
Yeah.
The way you said that so casually, Sarah.
This is the beauty of Riverdale.
In case you're wondering why Betty has an FBI jacket, it's because she has a special skill set, which is carrying the serial killer gene, which allows her to track down serial killers.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, her dad is a famous serial killer, and so she's a good serial killer hunter.
Yeah. But we thought it was the custodian, which is why we were like, wow, you really called it with this.
I'm sorry, that's its own show. You don't put that in an existing show.
Riverdale is 100 shows.
In fact, it kind of was its own show. That was season 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have to actually get into this episode. So I did my best to take loose notes on what happened to sort of kind of guide us through. And I'm just going to kind of read beats at you, Oscar, and you stop us. All right, beat
when
one.
You had enough.
Beat 1, baby Anthony. Beat 2, Archie and Betty wake up from the bomb.
Baby Anthony is the name of the beat, and I love that.
Yeah. And then we jump right into seeing a sacrificed deer in the woods.
Yeah.
Our lovely.
Before we hop to the deer, which I think is a playful use of the word heart as an old Angel fan. But when Betty and Archie wake up, Betty says, okay, no more Twilight Zone marathons before bed. Now, Oscar, can I ask you a question? How many episodes constitutes a marathon of a television show?
That's a good question. Yeah, what constitutes a marathon? I mean, 6.
Right? Like, if you watch Friends before bed, that's usually 3 episodes.
Yes.
Okay, here's my counter. Riverdale exists in sort of a timeless space.
Yes.
And that felt more like a reference to when marathons would be playing on TV. And if there's a Twilight
like
marathon and you
so you
tune in for an episode or two,
and tap out.
Yeah,
I see. Kind of like what they do on New Year's Day. I believe they have a Twilight Zone marathon.
They do.
So maybe every day is New Year's Day in Riverdale.
It's possible.
That's beautiful.
Anything is possible in Riverdale, Oscar.
I can tell.
welcome to Riverdale. Every day is New Year's, and also Sci-Fi Channel is still Sci-Fi Channel. Like, it's the old spelling, and they're timeless in the sense that it's like the 2010 sci-fi.
The only constants.
No CP here. Welcome to Rivervale.
I like the note though. Dude, I love this show. Okay. Okay, so they wake up from the bomb. Everything is making sense so far. And then we cut to Betty's got her FBI jacket and she's investigating a sacrificed deer in the woods of Thornhill that her gay best friend Kevin has called her into.
Who always gets in trouble anytime he goes in the woods. This is an ongoing thing.
Dude is always cruising and running into trouble.
Is this true? Is this canon?
This is canon. There is a season long
cruising on the CW?
Yeah.
Okay. Gay has gone mainstream officially.
Yeah. And then we get to meet Cheryl Blossom and her sort of pack of archery girls.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's giving Professor X, you know. Yeah. It's giving Emma Frost.
It's great.
My girls and I will take possession of that carcass. This leads me to my first official question to you, Oscar. Outfit check, archers? ? How are you feeling?
I mean, it's iconic. All of her I guess she got the budget. She got the wardrobe budget. Everybody else looks truly pedestrian, and while she'd be looking money. Okay. Yeah. And it seems to me like she is a powerful figure in Rivervale for sure. But is she a powerful figure in Riverdale?
Yes. Because her family.
What's her role in the show?
The Blossoms. Yeah. Oh man. The Blossoms are the richest family in town.
Gotcha.
And they own like most of the land.
Explains the wardrobe. Okay.
Yes. And by season 6, she and her grandma are the only surviving Blossoms. Yeah. So she is she has become like the scion of this huge estate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. What's the season with the doll? That's not this season, is it? No, that was last season, right?
The doll?
They're all dolls.
Jason, no, it's season.
Oh, thank you.
The cast are dolls. Come on.
I think it is season 6.
There's also a possessed. Is that this season?
I think it's this season, but I don't remember.
Let's not worry about it then.
We'll find it when we find it. I love Cheryl. Like Cheryl, it just became the star of the
juiciest
show.
Parts. Like
she got
gets
the real
best
juice.
lines. She gets the good looks. She's winning. She's winning this season.
She crushes it.
Mm-hmm. There is so she used to, she was the head of the cheerleading squad, and then there's a lot of drama where she's removed, she's put back, she gets sort of a teacher who's trying to usurp her. But there was also a funeral in which the Riverdale Vixens they cheered at, which was at a funeral, and they had funerary outfits that were the official Riverdale High funerary cheerleading outfits that were all black, and it was very tasteful, I want to say.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
She's an interesting character. She's always been important. She's sort of like framed as an antagonist in season 1, but also the big mystery of season 1 is investigating the death of her beloved twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
So she's also sympathetic, and then she ends up like her story becomes deeply about her being a lesbian and the prejudice she faces as a result, both within her sort of waspy old money family and in the broader town. So she walks a really fine, well done and well performed balance of like hateable mean girl and like really sympathetic lesbian, fish out of water girl.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Because, when I taught her 101, her go-tos were very high status and sort of like very similar to the character I'm realizing now. I'm like, okay, these are your go-tos, Madeline. Okay.
Yeah.
But what a talent. She's so funny. She was so good in class. And she knew it too. I mean, I guess you have to. When you play Cheryl, it's like Yeah, I know my worth. And here's
Good
the thing.
for her.
I love a redheaded character that isn't like demonized in a way. Like we love Cheryl. We feel like, I mean, she was my favorite character in the dozens and dozens of Rivervale characters. She was the one that, to me, that was like, oh, that's Mother right there. And I love to see a redheaded character just really own and chew that scenery and really masticate it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
digest that scenery. She ate.
Okay, I want to keep us moving a little bit because boy, we're on beat 4 of so many, and
we're not even out of the teaser.
We're trying to keep these episodes under an hour. There's so much to talk about. Okay, I'm just gonna speed through these. Omar, Oscar, stop me whenever you want. Spider Curse, The Old Ways, She Who Walks Amongst the Trees, aka the Maple Maiden, and my favorite line from the episode: All that was once fecund is now barren.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Then we get to, oh God, my favorite recurring character who just delivers in Rivervale, Dr. Curdle.
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes.
This isn't a new character?
Am I wrong in saying that he is like the actual like child of the old doctor actor?
Oh, is that true?
The old coroner. I believe like he took over. Maybe I'm wrong.
He exists in earlier seasons. He's like
I'm checking.
I think in earlier seasons he's like the medical examiner.
Yes.
In the morgue.
That same character, Curdle.
Yeah.
Curdle. What a name.
Dr. Curdle.
Yes, this is Dr. Curdle Jr. Which is baffling.
Keep in the family.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a small town. Sometimes, the one doctor is also the Emmy. He's really hamming up the creep, but yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Curdle Jr. has been in since season 3, recurring character.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We love to see it.
We have a lot of reason to go to the morgue in Riverdale.
Yeah. But now we're checking in with fertility doctors.
Yeah.
And I think a really interesting thing about this scene for me, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this, Oscar. He's got that toad ready in the jar.
So ready.
I know. Which to me, I was like, oh, everyone's a witch in some sort of way. And that's just the grounded reality that we live here in Rivervale. Yeah. Like everyone does these, it's very folk horror vibes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna spoil a little bit for you, Oscar.
Please do.
When I said earlier that Rivervale is sort of like a splinter universe caused by a bomb and various emotional confluences, that's 100% canon. And but the first 4 episodes of the season take place in Rivervale, and then we return to Riverdale, and then there's a lot of traveling back and forth.
Wait, whoa, okay.
It gets weird.
So the whole season isn't Rivervale?
Well, no. The whole season.
Yes.
The whole season is spurred by Rivervale.
I see.
Okay, let me just give you a quick summary.
In a weird way.
To quickly summarize, listeners who haven't seen Riverdale season 6, I apologize. Here's a quick spoiler for what's going to happen. It'll all make sense. Everyone in the main universe of Riverdale kind of like died, like Archie's dead and whatever. Like those people died from the bomb that Hiram Lodge set off. And then Jughead in the Rivervale universe, who has the power of sort of story manifestation, writes a series of comics about Riverdale that he thinks are fictional, which sort of resurrects the original universe of Riverdale, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That's like loosely the causality.
It's a little Watchmen-esque in a way.
And Jughead is Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah, in this very loose simile. Like a really loose simile. Like, go with me here.
Jughead is like, he's a fascinating character. There's so many versions of Jughead in this season, and one of them is basically becomes like the god of the main universe, and he has to continuously sit in a bunker and write new stories, or else that universe will like cease to exist.
Yeah.
This is a TV show. Like, there are no bad ideas. Like, it's all
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I want people to jump right into season 6, like that, because by season 6, some people are like, oh, they've jumped the shark or whatever. Like, no, they've been completely unleashed.
Yes. Yes. When you're pitching a show, we worked in television. When you're pitching a show, you put a lot of you brainstorm is the term, right? Like that's the industry term. You brainstorm. You have a lot of index cards. You have a lot of dry erase markers. You put stuff up. This is the only season where any group of people have been brave enough to go, don't erase a single thing, don't move a single card. The way we just pitched it, it stays.
Yeah.
That order of events, that's it.
Okay, speaking of that order of events, we have, I heard that serpent mothers used to leave their baby in the woods when they had college.
Yes.
Any notes on that one, anyone? That seems reasonable enough. You know what a serpent mother is, right, Oscar?
It made me stronger, and her too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Veronica and Reggie fuck on the money bed.
Yeah. Tell me straight, Ronnie. Do you want this casino or not? Great line.
He had the best line in the episode, which is the classic. Picture tells 1,000 words as he exits. I was like, this is revolutionary writing here.
His use of the word picture, it stressed me out.
Yeah.
It's a blueprint. It's not a picture.
It's a series of blueprints. Still worth 1,000 words.
Can I ask you, Oscar? Are you team Reg or team anti-Reg right now?
Okay, so Reg is played by the guy who's in movies.
Yeah,
won a bunch of awards. Yes. I like him a lot. I met him and he's very sweet, very nice.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
And that makes me like him. And he's like really hot. You can't say anyone is hot in the show because everyone is hot in the show. Even
especially
the freaking creepy ass doctor. But what is Reggie's relationship with Veronica? But like, who is Reggie? Because I know that he has a rivalry with Archie.
Prize.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, and he knows it. It seems like
he knows it.
And I root for the underdog, so I would say I'm Team Reggie.
He went to high school with all of them, and he was sort of like an unlikable bully who is jealous of Archie's talent and goodness.
Because Archie's sort of like the best at everything. That's his sort of...
Archie is the perfect boy.
I see.
He's the best boy.
Yeah. He's like uncorruptible, good at everything.
The Omar, let's say.
Yeah, he's the Omar.
Shout out to Epps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't wait for our house podcast.
Only season 6, though.
Only season 6.
A series of these.
Don't tempt me.
I'm telling Sarah, there's something there.
Riverdale season 6, season 2.
Of every show.
I love it. Riverdale season 6, season 2, House.
Yes. I know we got to move through these, but I gotta run something by you really quickly, Oscar, because there were 2 actors that played Reggie. There was an actor in season 1 who had to exit to go perform some other roles, and then this current actor fulfilled the role. Now, let me ask you a question. We said no bad ideas, right? How would you feel about a possible like Veronica fantasy sequence where both actors come together and go,
they
hello,
both
Veronica.
fuck her? Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I love that idea.
Now, what would you say?
There are no bad ideas, Omar.
If I said that happens?
No, you lie. You lie.
No. The original actor comes back and we get
Ross Butler. I see.
We get Reggie on Veronica on Reggie action.
This is a brilliant show, is what you're telling me.
It's the best show. This is the best season of television, Oscar.
Wow.
A vaginal sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. We got the baby in the woods. We run into who? Of course, it's Cheryl, and she's got magic perfume. We're back to the spider curse. Spider curse is just continually happening.
And don't know who gave them that curse, right? Not until later, of course.
Jughead squashed a spider.
Yeah. Also, is it a curse? Like, is it possible it's just bugs? Like,
it could just be that they have bugs in their house. Yeah, they could just have bugs in their house.
It was giving Bug, that play that got turned into a movie with Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon. I was getting very stressed for them. As someone who hates bugs myself, I'm like, this is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't just spiders, was it? Because they got Madagascar cockroaches in the cereal, which I'm like, those don't exist in the real world. Not in the U.S. I don't know what country Riverdale takes place in, but
New York.
They don't exist here.
New York. Or the sovereign state of Thorndale.
Of course.
I think they're in New York. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And
okay.
the year we don't know. We don't know the year this takes place in.
Well, it's sort of modern
present day.
It sort of is, and it sort of isn't.
It's its own kind of liminal space. The year will become incredibly relevant in other seasons, but that's a whole nother tangent.
Oh, you're right.
For example, if there were a season following this season that entirely took place in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And it was
it actually 60s.
Happened. It was like leaning really heavy into how would the Riverdale characters feel about the struggle for civil rights?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a completely different podcast, Oscar.
You can't do a spider curse and the next season tackle civil rights issues.
It's a pure evolution.
Do you think you can't do a spider curse and then the next season have a character attending the trial of the guys who murdered Emmett Till?
Do you think that's not a thing?
That's not what they should do?
That is the natural heightening of a show, actually. So,
do you think that you can't go from Spider Curse to literally the comics code and the Haze?
Yeah, the Haze Act.
I think that's the outline that featured in Save the Cat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a Long Dark Night of the Soul. Time travel back to the 50s. Okay. All right, Cheryl got magic perfume, spider curse. We're making poppets for the Maple Maiden. And then one of my favorite Cheryl lines of the episode, no, Britta. Just perfect delivery. I'm not going to bother learning the names of any of the actors here. Perfect delivery by Cheryl Blossom there.
Madeleine Petsch.
Yep. And just in case you forgot, Betty was in the FBI. You'll notice I'm skipping all of the boring beats of the romance between Alice Cooper
older
and
people,
Frank.
Right?
Yeah.
Who were those two?
Betty's mom and Archie's uncle.
Complicated.
Betty's mom has a little bit of a thing for the dads of anyone Betty's dating. And we as a society have just decided to not talk about it.
She's also got a thing where she's like, she's just evil.
Yeah.
She's just kind of evil. And then sometimes she's sympathetic.
Yeah.
Well, because she's got the psychopath gene, right?
She actually doesn't. She can't blame it on that.
Yeah, she's just a bitch. It's really nothing else to it. Yeah.
Maybe she's born with it.
Yeah. Okay, I have the casino, Jan. I don't remember what that scene was about. We're learning about the Maple Festival.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. The maple trees are all dying. We gotta plant maples for everyone.
Forgot his shovel. That's He forgets the shovel. He goes back into the woods.
Yeah, that's why he was back in the woods. Thank you, Oscar. Yeah. Okay, and now we're getting to see Betty do some real FBI shit.
Here we go.
Ooh, she's investigating. She's got a cold case, and what's that? It's a poppet. Da-da-da.
And it's got initials in the back.
Rose
the one
Blossom.
clue we missed.
Yeah. I always initial my murder poppets when I do human sacrifice.
Well, they're like, like little beanie babies, of course. You have to write your little tag in there.
So true.
That's how they get increased in value.
That's right.
Betty confronts Cheryl Blossom in Thornhill, and we get an actual pretty clever line where Cheryl says, "Why don't we cut to the heart of the issue here?"
Ooh.
Very pointed.
Very pointed.
Ooh. And this is after Cheryl says, "Cousin, how far did you get into my house?" And Betty shoots back with the one-liner Bobby pin. Now, I think that's, if you want dialogue writing 101, that's perfect. It right there. It tells you everything you need to know about these characters.
So true. Yeah. How far did you get into my house? Yeah, Cheryl and Betty are cousins.
Oh,
yeah.
Sort of like
family.
Secret cousins. Everyone knows they're cousins now, but that was a revelation.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did take one note on the relationship between Alice Cooper and Frank, which was my secret wife and daughter were murdered, and that's why I can't enter a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're like, what if we did Frank Castle?
Yeah, like why can't Frank? Why isn't Frank open to this relationship?
Yeah,
when I was a mercenary, I had a wife.
It made me laugh so hard.
Dude.
What do you mean you were a mercenary? What?
No, you all you all are laughing, but I put that exact line in my Hinge profile, and let me tell you, hit after hit after hit after hit.
Yeah, that's what you did because you're a mercenary.
Just an amazing exploration of the art of cinema in this conversation between Cheryl and Tabitha Tate. Just these escalatingly insane angles.
Who directed this episode? That shot of Tabitha talking about the spiders, and it's so close to her face. I was like, I feel like I'm playing Until Dawn or The Quarry or one of those games. Like, what is the purpose of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be cleansed of some of those feelings, maybe you could take a hearty bite of sin pie.
Yes.
Listeners, if you haven't seen the episode, I know this sounds like I'm just saying an insane random list of things, but this is the episode.
We swear to you. Can I run you on through some numbers real quick?
Yeah.
116 pancakes. 119 pancakes.
Yes. For the pancake eating contest, of course.
Yeah. So many pancakes.
So many pancakes. How many hours did Tabitha spend flipping pancakes? 18 hours or something?
Yeah,
18 hours.
Yeah, 18 hours flipping flapjacks.
And how many flapjacks can y'all eat?
One.
How big is a pancake? Are we talking IHOP or are we talking Little Dom's?
Oh,
whoa! Fancy in the house.
Listen, the Little Dom's lemon blueberry ricotta pancakes are some of the best pancakes I've ever had. Is it $18 for 3 pancakes and no sides? Yes, it is. Of course, it's Los Angeles.
I'd like to think that's the kind of pancake they're serving for the pancake eating contest.
Yes.
Some top notch.
Pops best.
I had to look it up. The real world record, 113 silver dollar pancakes within 8 minutes.
Okay, silver dollar is tiny. That's not a full size pancake.
But that's still so. It's
a lot of pancakes.
In 8 minutes.
It's a lot. Do you get syrup?
Competitive eater Matt Stoney. No syrup.
Classic.
He raw dogged those silver dollars.
Oh my God.
Of course it's Matt Stoney.
Maybe this is...
He's a famous competitive eater.
I was like, what?
Matt Stoney's like the whole reason that the mukbang thing exists on YouTube now. I think.
No way.
Because he's a competitive eater, and he would just film himself and stream himself like eating huge amounts of food.
Whoa.
I don't know if he's the actual cause, but I encountered it via him.
The first, a luminary, if you will.
Yeah.
I think it's wild to go from nearly 125 pancakes to sawing a log. I do think that's a hard transition.
Archie's the perfect boy. Omar, you would have done the same.
I tried last weekend.
I love that it's apparently a competition for a crown, but Archie's the only one competing in each event against one other person.
And no one else wants to compete. Well, I guess because they're all in on the fact that they were gonna.
They're all in on it. Yeah, they're all
pulled into Cheryl's web.
They had to tire him out. They had to tucker him out. And he had to prove himself as good enough to be their sacrifice.
Poor Archie.
And also, okay, this is serious Riverdale lore. The guy who created the show is like an obsessive Riverdale fan since he was a kid. The comics, the Archie comics, and he clearly has a huge hard-on for Archie. And like this show, 80% of this show is fan service for him, where he gets to use the actor playing Archie as like a little sex puppet for his Riverdale fantasies.
I see it.
This is my take. If you're listening and you want to be a guest on this show, I'll take that take back.
I would love to hear the clap back to that. That would just be like, I'm so curious.
The way that the whole thing started, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, the writer for Riverdale, made a play about Archie coming out of the closet.
Yep.
And it spiraled. I think there were some copyright issues, but then it led to like him talking to people and all that, and then eventually making this beautiful show.
Yeah.
What? He also worked on like Pretty Little Liars and Glee. And
oh yeah, it's very Glee coded sometimes. Very Pretty Little Liars coded.
Yeah, Cheryl could have been in Glee.
Oh, absolutely. They all could. They could have been a crossover, and I'd be like, okay,
that's true.
Sure.
And they do all sing a lot. Every season has a musical episode.
Every season one this season?
Yeah. There's a musical episode, right?
I don't know.
Segment, all right. He was also the author of the Afterlife with Archie comic, which was
it's
iconic,
isn't it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Archie.
Now the actor that plays Archie, that's not his real hair color, right?
No, it's not his real accent either.
That is a sickly red color. He's unwell, it seems.
He drank some water from Springfield.
I think they made it less realistic for this season. Like he used to look like a natural redhead, and it just became progressively more cartoonish, like to match the comics.
Oh. Now I want to see what Archie looks like in the comics.
Okay, yes, there is a musical episode, American Psychos.
Right.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah. Yeah, there Archie in the comics has like cartoon orange hair. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna finish this episode. We're gonna finish it. We got Saws, we got Midsommar, Maypole shit. We got an axe
beautiful choreography, I will say.
Lovely.
Beautiful choreography.
We got an axe throwing competition. That's great. And Archie wins a pie, and he needs it. He needs to eat that pie if he's gonna have enough stamina for what the crazy shit Betty's got planned for him, which is for her to lie still on a table. Well, they have pretty basic sex, table sex, which on my note I have labeled "hot trad wife action." Betty, what a perfect balance of FBI serial killer investigator and trad wife in this episode.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. What I will say is, and I know we're running short on the clock, but I just want to reassure our guest Oscar here that like this is some very like let's heat things up action.
Absolutely.
But in the last season, just so you know, they explore everyone's sexuality, left, right, and center.
Oh.
And if you're like, well, does that include Archie and the boys? Oh yeah.
Which boys?
Yeah. Which would you be hoping for? Which boys would you be?
Reggie, obviously. And Kevin, that big ass pervert Kevin.
Yeah, let's just say in season 7 that Reggie is the star basketball player of the Riverdale high school basket. They're all in high school again. And it's about him
naturally
confronting the anti-Korean biases post the Korean War.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because this takes place in the real
like late 50s, early 60s.
Real life. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's done lovingly. They explore bisexuality.
Tastefully.
And when I say it's like loving and tender, it is like it's not just like the one like wham bam like we did it, check the box. Like there is some eye contact, there's hand holding, there's like talking afterwards, there's exchange of love.
Are you saying healthy experimentation?
Oh my god, baby!
What the heck, baby? Now you know it's fantasy.
Baby, we're not there. We're here in season 6 where it says, "Can we skip the pie?" And Betty smiles and goes, "No."
Yeah, you can't skip that pie. You got to eat the pie. Look, Roberto wasn't going to get all the way through season 7 and not have Archie experiment with boys. Okay, he eats the pie. They fuck on the table. Oh no, Betty's gone. He's got to run to the woods.
Does he know she's there? I don't know.
Yeah. Last official question to Oscar. Outfit check. The Maple Queen. How we feeling?
Iconic.
So
iconic.
Good.
Both looks.
Both looks are great. The headdresses, crazy.
Yes, the horns.
The horns on Betty, they're so good. Everyone in their little Midsommar outfits were so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Should we as a podcast next Ren Fair go as all of them?
Yes.
This last scene.
Yes, we should.
Yeah. The answer is duh.
Betty's
Who
son
would get the reference?
Anyone who matters.
Also, who is sacrificed Archie?
Oh,
we got to get the hottest guy. Who's the hottest guy you know?
We'll just find someone at the Ren Fair to sacrifice.
We'll sacrifice people at the Ren Fair. That sounds good. We'll bring pie. Betty's son will be the Maple King in 25 years. She's happy about that. We're keeping the cycle going, I guess.
She feels it in her bones. It's a boy. So
yeah.
And then
she knows she's pregnant.
Oscar, I know this is a pretty common trope. So, were you surprised at all when Cheryl cut out Archie's still beating heart and held it aloft to the assembled townsfolk?
I actually was, because I guess at this point, I don't know if it's still running on the CW or if it's just
the show is done.
Netflix. During season 6, if it was on the CW. But I just assumed the CW was this sort of squeaky clean. I always associate CW with like Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
So when there was a graphic beating heart, I said, oh.
No, CW, because CW is also the channel of like iZombie and stuff. Like,
what the heck is iZombie?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Such a good show, Oscar.
There's a lot of WB and CW, but every so often you get some UPN. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I know what you mean by that. iZombie. Okay, I got to check that out.
Let's just say iZombie is about a woman who turns into a zombie, and in this world, when zombies eat someone's brains, they experience flashbacks of that person's memories and adopt parts of their personality, but she can't admit that she's a zombie, so she gets a job as a medical examiner at the morgue of the Seattle Police Department and eats the brains of murder victims and then pretends to be a psychic having visions of the way that they died.
For the sake of argument. Let's say that.
Of course is a procedural.
I'm a sucker for a procedural. Okay. But getting back to our procedure.
Yep.
Archie's dead. He's dead. I was so shocked the first time I saw this.
And not a virgin, according to him.
He's not a virgin. He's definitely not a virgin. And she who walks amongst the trees accepts our sacrifice and be appeased. What good poetry. And then Jughead finishes it off with I think a fitting line for our podcast here. We hope you've enjoyed your visit so far because no one is going anywhere. We're just getting started.
So, a question for you, Oscar, after all this. Does this get the Jughead Riveting Award? And just to explain to everybody listening for the first time, because it's our first episode, that's a reference to, in this episode, when they're having a town meeting, Jughead, the narrator, goes, riveting.
The show just shits on itself. It's great. What a good moment.
Okay, I like an award. I want y'all to nominate someone for the award of the Sinner Pie Who's Eating Award, and you tell me the character who ate this episode. The character who you thought killed this episode. To me, there's only one winner, one nominee, one who takes the whole thing.
And that is Cheryl Blossom.
Cheryl. Yeah.
I have a counter.
Okay.
You better say Veronica, because she was in it maybe 3 times.
I have my alternate. I think Cheryl's gonna win so many times that like she
deserves it every time.
Assuming Cheryl.
I have an alt nominee.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This queen stole the show. This queen set the precedent. This queen kicked off a whole new universe, and that would be the deer we saw in the beginning.
That's so true. And that's
if that's the case, then I'm nominating the spider that died to start the curse.
And my official nominee is Dr. Curdle. I love that creepy boy. I would watch a whole show about him just being creepy.
Would it give you any consolation that this is an epidemic? He asked, dead ass, just saying it. The words coming out of his mouth.
How do we feel about Rod Serling Jughead?
Ooh, love.
He's good. You know, I have a hard time separating my feelings for Jughead from my feelings for like Dylan Sprouse, who I don't like.
Cole. This one's Cole Sprouse.
Whatever it is. He's such like an asshole in interviews about the show. He's like always smoking indoors, like right next to the interviewer and shit.
Wait, seriously?
Oh, you can watch compilation after compilation on YouTube.
Yeah, he's a huge dick.
No way.
Yeah.
I kind of like him more now, actually.
Oh, that bad boy worked, huh?
Yeah, I love it. Because he was a child star, and now he's like, fuck it, I'm Jughead.
This is like,
where was his crown? That was the thing that was pissing me off. I said
season 7.
Season 7, you find his back in the 50s, 60s.
Well, he had a beanie. The first few seasons, he has a beanie that has a crowned ridge that's like evocative of the crown.
Yeah, let me take a look at that. Let me go
to Etsy. Look for the crochet pattern.
Yeah, they kind of hot topicked the crown.
Yeah. He does lose the crown when he has to fake his own death to make it look like he was murdered by a bunch of prep school kids. Something about getting back for his grandfather who was murdered and had his novel stolen.
Does he lose
the Hardy Boys?
Does he lose the crown when he becomes the Serpent King?
No, he still has when he's the Serpent King. It's when he fakes his death because they have to leave it as proof that he died.
Oh, I see the hat. Okay. Ooh, weird.
But in season 7, he's got like the full comic book style.
Damn. So I'll say this: we got a lot of nominees.
We got a lot of nominees.
Mostly animals. I'll also add the toad in there. Toad in the jar.
Toad in the jar.
We could stick this toad in its mouth.
But this is the Sin Pie Award. Who ate and left absolutely not one single crown.
The obvious answer is Cheryl, but I feel like if we're going forward with this, we should in the future set aside Cheryl as like the figurehead of this because Cheryl's gonna eat every episode.
You're right. Yeah. So Cheryl's giving the pie.
I'm gonna suggest, just as before looking forward a little bit, I think if each character can only win once, which might be a fun way to play it.
Damn.
We should make sure Cheryl's got such good episodes coming up. We don't want to blow it on this.
Use it on Cheryl today.
We don't want to use it.
Then
on
I'm gonna
today.
give. You know what? Then I'll throw my vote in for Spider.
Big Spider.
Not forgotten.
All right, R.I.P. Spider. Oh, you're cursing people in heaven now. Oscar,
you got like one shot.
Oscar, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
How would you rate episode 1? We're just going to let our guests rate every episode for us.
From 0 to
whatever you want.
Completely unhinged.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
This episode, I'm definitely, honestly, I am curious to watch the rest of the season, which watching it, like not understanding any of the lore or the characters, I said, this is worth watching. I'm sucked into the clownery that is season 6.
I've gotten multiple people to watch all of Riverdale season 6 with me who've never seen seasons 1 through 5.
Okay, and you've added another one to the list because I'm watching season 6.
Because Oscar, let me tell you, you haven't even met Percival Pickens, the immortal racist warlock.
Not yet.
What? Oh, that just got me so tired. That exhausted me. What?
Percival Pickens, the immortal racist bisexual warlock.
Yeah.
Well, that goes without saying. Everyone in Riverdale is bisexual.
You haven't gotten to the Dream Warriors episode yet. You will.
Yeah. And
excuse me.
And you haven't seen the whole cross lifetime reincarnated lesbian witch romance episode yet either.
Oh my God. No idea is a bad idea.
There's no bad idea. It'll find you
when you need it most.
Yeah.
I found that's the motto of this podcast.
I found Riverdale for the first time when I was recovering from facial feminization surgery, and I was trapped on a couch, stoned on OxyContin, and I just put on episode 1, and it just kept playing, and I couldn't find the remote. So.
And some
so it was like very
A
Clockwork Orange. you got clockwork.
Oh, sometimes you're like drifting in and out of that post-surgery haze, and you don't know what's real and what's Riverdale.
Well, it's Rivervale. That's what
That's what it
exactly
is.
What it
in between Real and Riverdale, there's Rivervale.
Well, This was great. Thank you for being our first.
Oh my
guest.
gosh, thanks for having me. What
Thank you, Oscar. Is there anything you want to pitch? Anything you want to share with the world?
You can follow me on social media at Ozzymo, Ozzymo. I also host a Eurovision Song Contest podcast called Eurovangelists, which is three dumb Americans making Americans understand the Eurovision Song Contest. So it's really fun. Check that out wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can follow us on Instagram at Eurovangelists.
Amazing.
Yes.
You can follow me on Instagram at Sarah Rose Kaplan. Sarah, no H, Rose like the flower, Kaplan, Caplan. Fuck the test prep company. It makes everyone get my name wrong. And I do improv and stuff there. Mostly the most important thing in my life right now is Riverdale. So if you're listening to this, you're already doing it.
I'm Owen Najam. You can find me at Owen Najam Film on Instagram. Also on the Effin' Funny channel on Sundays. I got a little show called ABCD. Maybe something new and exciting coming up where it's two people playing D&D and you're like, who's the player? Who's the GM? The answer is both.
Oh my God, I love that.
That sounds so fun.
It's gonna
when does that drop?
Unhinged. Hoping soon. And, and we're trading.
Awesome.
It's a rotating door. So if anyone wants to hop in the seat,
me.
Anytime.
Great. You're gonna be bothered. I'm gonna bother all three of you about this.
Azzy, do you want to promote anything?
You can follow me on Instagram at I Need Azrael, Azrael. But other than that, I don't really do much right now. So
except this beautiful project.
This is an incredible podcast.
Prioritize quality.
And I'm assuming this podcast will also have an Instagram, or are you not?
Probably, probably. Great. It should. It'll be something like at Riverdale season 6.
The podcast, something like that.
It should have a it should have an Instagram.
Follow the podcast at pictures worth caption word.
No idea is a bad idea.
Sin pie eaters.
I feel like no idea is a bad idea is the subheader of this podcast. Because dude, if this isn't proof of that.
Yeah, seriously. And I got another season after this one. Oh my God.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to listen to episode 2, where we're going to be talking about Riverdale season 6, episode 2, with our special guest, Vic Michaelis, who's also never seen Riverdale. And they haven't even seen episode 1. So they're hopping in fresh.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you all so much. And bye.
Pie.
Bye.
Bye.